Hello and welcome to Decoupling Digital Design. And today's topic will discuss about some of the decoupling needs of a printed circuit board. So in this section, we will look upon the overview of some of the decoupling capacitors, the problems that is associated with the decaps, current versus time needs of digital design, and where the current will come from. And you also will look on anatomy of the capacitors, then different types of capacitors on low, mid, and frequency decouplings, types of capacitors, the practical guidelines with respect to placement, quantity, and breakout, and SPICE simulations of the decoupling circuit. Today's ICs, they have very fast edge rates that could generate instantaneous demands for the current. A power supply that is used in the board, it can't deliver current to a chip that is fast enough as stated above. Now, these capacitors will now act as a local power supplies to the chip when you place near to the in the board near to the chips, and this will in turn will fill the current demands of the each chip while they are operating. And suppose if these current demands aren't met, then what will happen? Well, this will lead to a previous not operating properly and causes to signal degradation, and it will not the chip would not function as expected. Then when can we count on the power supply to provide current? When decoupling a cap, how many capacitors are necessary? Then we will see about how can we be sure we have done enough. So mainly the goal of this class is to answer the above questions and especially to create a decoupling policy. As you see in the plot on the AC current analysis of a 12 milliamps driver, the graph would typically show that it actually maximum consumes of over 50 milliamps for this AC circuit analysis what we do. Also, if you see in any series RLC circuit, the current I equal to V by impedance, but a resonance current I equal to V by R. Therefore, the current at resonance frequency is maximum as at resonance in impedance of circuit resistance only and is minimal. So, based on this, at the starting, when the frequency increases, the impedance decreases and the circuit current increases. Some of the background before we start is like any CMOS technology where you see on any of the ICs are presently used is scaled to get smaller on present technology, and you have a faster transistor on this. So, due to this, the power supply voltage must decrease, because earlier we used to have 5-volt devices, then we had 3.3, 2.5 is also there, and we are still reducing this voltage. Now we are going below to 1.8 volt also. So, because of this higher integration that is used and more transistor within the chip, the power consumed also will be increased. Now, based on this, we used to calculate on the for a given voltage and the power, current would be calculated. Now, as per this, we should have a target impedance for a power distribution systems and can be calculated. So, the voltage that is used in this calculation should be within the allowable ripple, and the impedance target you derive it by allowable ripple voltage by current. And note that you will mostly see in this class we will be discussing in the frequency domain. So, as the voltage is decreasing, so the allowable ripple is also decreasing as per the impedance target what we intend to do. And also the power is increasing because of the more transistor that is used in the ICs, and so the current is also increasing. And to be noted, the impedance target is also decreasing here. So typically, if you see the table in the previous like 1990s and the present of year, the voltages were 5 volt, and now presently the voltage has come down drastically to 1.8 volt. The power consumption has increased, the current is also increased, but the target impedances what you are meeting is around 2 milliohms because of the frequency that is been higher, that is around 600 megahertz, and it is even more than this. The target impedances to be met at what frequencies? It should be met at all DC and at all the frequencies where current transients exist. So current transients can occur in at kilohertz range to some low megahertz, mid megahertz, and high megahertz ranges also. That is with respect to the functions of memory access, due to memory access, due to bus activity, or due to the processor inside a board with software activity changes. So basically, all these things can lead to a current transients from various range of frequencies from kilohertz to megahertz. And the impedance of the power distribution system must be about twice the target impedance over a wide range of frequency. So current transients are commonly about half of the maximum current to be noted. When you take a plot of target impedances versus the frequency, if you see it still around 50 kilohertz, the voltage regulator is effective. Then after this, say some from 1 kilohertz to 1 megahertz, your bulk capacitors that would maintain a low PDS impedance. And when you go for higher frequencies like ceramic capacitors, when you choose, that would maintain the PDS impedance from 1 megahertz to several hundred megahertz. So above you go to greater than 100 megahertz, say example, the interplane capacitance and the impedance of the power planes are important to be considered. So we discuss on the anatomy of a capacitor. Like a capacitor would, when you model, it consists of an RLC circuit as shown in the right, and the R and L components are based on the equivalent series resistance and the equivalent series inductance of the capacitors. Here in the study, we will see that the ESR will be the total resistance from the cap to the reference plane. And also to be included, it includes the leads of a capacitor, bias, and the traces on the board. And three components of the ESR to be factored is like the dielectric loss, the ohmic resistance, and the skin effect, which is accounted for the high frequency signals. And even the ESL, the equivalent series inductance, is the total inductance from the cap to the reference plane. So ESR is the total resistance from cap to reference plane, and ESL is the total inductance from the capacitor to the reference plane. And also this is accounted with respect to which includes the capacitor leads, bias, and traces of the board. Note, an ESR or ESL for an unconnected capacitor would be just for its leads. So we will see here in this slide about how does the equivalent circuit behave in the frequency domain. So the resonance of a circuit will be given as f equal to 1 by 2 pi square root of LC. And if you see the plot, the area of resonance is where the impedance is minimum. It's called series resonance, it's called. And the capacitive slope will be around minus 20 dB per decade, and inductive slope is about plus 20 dB per decade. And in this plot, we have used capacitance of 0.1 microfarad and inductance of 10 nanohenry, and the resonance will occur at the lowest point of the graph. be noted that in this formula there is no resistance in the resistance covered here, but the impedance value at the resonance is the ESR, what should be accounted. And this is a series resonance circuit and exhibits a very low impedance at the resonance, as you see in the plot. So this is the same plot with respect to the log impedances versus the frequency, which is a board plot that you have just referred. Now, second is, how does the equivalent series inductance of a capacitor influence its performance? So, on the next page you see a plot with the three capacitors placed as shown in the below table. Now, if you see this three capacitor cap 1, cap 2 and cap 3, the inductance and resistance and the capacitor, the capacitor's value is around 0.1 microfarad and the resistance is around 0.01 ohms. This both are same for all the three capacitors. The only difference is the inductance, like it has around 1 nanohenry, 10 nanohenry and 20 nanohenry. Now, in this case, the capacitor with the lowest ESL will reach the resonance later, that is 1 nanohenry. Then after the resonance, the cap with the lowest ESL has to be the lowest impedance, and this impedance is the lowest at all the higher frequencies. Then also note that the ESRs, as stated earlier, it would be around 10 milliohms. And by this plot, when you analyze, the capacitor 3 is said to have a higher Q. Q is a Q factor that would represent the efficiency of a given capacitor in terms of energy losses, and this is happened because it is more peaked at resonance frequency. And this higher Q is caused due to larger ESL. To note that the effectiveness of high frequency decoupling caps is greatly increased when the inductance is minimized. So this is the plot what we just now described, and the three caps of capacitance of 0.1 microfarad are R of 10 milliohms, ESR of 10 milliohms, and for the different ESLs what we choose and what we just described about the plot. So what happens with the different values of C? The second case is like, again you have three capacitors. The capacitance value is different, like you've chosen 0.1, 0.01 and 0.001 microfarad, where inductance and resistance are same, like 10 nanohenry and 0.01 ohms. So in this plot, if you see, the three capacitors exhibit the same impedance at higher frequency, but the capacitant impedance are all different with respect to the left side of the resonance frequency, what you see in the plot. So this is the plot what you see, what we just described. So next is like one third example we'll take, like what will happen if the same values of caps are placed in parallel. So the next plot will show about the effect of connecting 9 capacitors in parallel, and all these caps are equal as shown in the table, like one cap 1 to cap 9 with the capacitance value of 0.1 microfarad and inductance of 10 nanohenry and the resistance of 0.01 ohms, and all the caps are having the same RLC values. Now, by adding these capacitor in parallel, it will lower the impedance of both the reactance, capacitive reactance and the inductive reactance slope. And this is because inductance in parallel it decreases and capacitors in parallel also increases. The slopes are still plus or minus 20 dB per decade, but are flattened out as the circuit approaches the resonance. Note that the resonance frequency is the same for a single cap of the same value. Also note that the impedance at resonance is lower than a single cap. This is because the ESR of each caps are also in parallel. This you can see in the plot in the next slide. So what we described, this is the slide you can see for the single chip and as well as the 9 capacitors which is placed in the parallel. And you see the resonance is low for the 9 caps when it is in parallel compared to the single chip. Now, fourth example is like what will happen when a multiple caps with the multiple values are connected in parallel. So, this is one of the typical example that what you would see on the circuit boards. Like on the plot, if you see the next page, you are connected with you simulated it by using with connecting 14 caps in parallel, where 7 were around 0.1 microfarad and 7 were around 0.01 microfarad, and all these ESR and ESL were equal, and the slope what you maintain is still in plus or minus 20 dB per decade and flattened out as the circuit will approach this resonance. So, here there are two resonance peaks, one for each value of the capacitors, like what the capacitors value you choose, like 7 for 0.1 microfarad and 7 for 0.01 microfarad. And this is what you can see from the plotted thing, where 14 caps were used in parallel, and you see the two resonances this is happening for the different values of the capacitor chosen. Then now the what also will happen when multiple capacitors with multiple values are connected in parallel. Now this in this example we will see the simulation on the following slide is of two capacitor in parallel, like 1 microfarad and 0.1 microfarad with having the 10 milliohms and 20 nanohenry. The L and R values are same, but two caps are placed in parallel here. And when you place this, notice that the anti-resonance peak in between that two resonance frequency in the next slide. So this peak will get larger with a larger value of Q, because this is caused because of the more inductance or the less resistance. Also, this peak is associated with one capacitor inductance impedance and the other with the capacitive impedance. And one circuit has gone inductive in this case and one is still in capacitive. So, by this kind of circuit will typically will form a classic parallel L-shaped tank circuit, and the anti-resonance peak will become high as large gaps exist within the C values. So, with this kind of circuit, the most effective way is to reduce the anti-resonance frequency peaks is by reducing the inductance, spreading decoupling over a wide range of values, and you increase the ESR. As we described, this is the plot where you see the to reduce the anti-resonances what is impacted here.